Okay, let's go to the next one. This is also a very big one. Yiras Ava'im. Yiras Ava'im, wow. Have an awe for parents. Where does that come from? Oh, it's thought. It's thought in the moment. Yeah, I'm in fear of hurting them or upsetting them. I'm in fear of breaking the relationship. According to Malas HaTorah, the mitzvah Kibbut Ava'im and Yiras Ava'im, the Ikar mitzvah is in the mind, and the Ikar mitzvah is after they passed away. Meaning, the yira you have for your parents and the kavod you have for your parents continues even after they've passed away. Because when you're doing a mitzvah, you are automatically crediting your mum and dad. Even though they're in Olam HaEmes, and they come there with all their mitzvahs, so they get their Olam Haba with its cap. But you're doing mitzvahs enables them to break through the cap that's on their Gan Eden, and now they can increase their eternity, so to speak. The Ikar Kibbut Avim and the Ikar Yiras Avim is actually Achrei Misasam. So moving forward, remember the only cause of your success is Hashem. We've had the opposite of that don't think that your success is coming from you. And it's brought from the same pasuk. So you've got the inverse of both mitzvahs, to not think it's me and to believe it's really from Hashem. Lo koichi ve'otzim yadi. It's not my strength, ve'otzim yadi, and the power of my hands, asali et hazeh, that did this success in my life. No, it's really from you. And it's not the lechem that a person is living on. Rather, it's what comes out of the mouth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why we say shehakol niyeh b'dvaroi. Everything is because you dictate it to be that way. It's not because there's a cause and effect in this world. It's really you who's making and running everything in my life. So moving along, it's a mitzvah to think about Hashem's greatness as it's manifest in His creation. This is brought in Sefer Haredim. He actually brings it from the pasuk that you and I say every day at the end of Shachris Mincha Mariv, V'yadata hayom, you shall know today. V'hashavoisai levavecha. But also think about it, because it's not just enough to know Hashem exists. Yeah, and you and I will agree, of course we know Hashem exists. But you've got to think about it. Think about it during the day. How? V'hashavoisai levavecha, ki Hashem hu Elokim b'shamayim ma'al. In the heavens above, and in the earth beneath, ein oid. So says Sefer Haredim, there's a mitzvah to be mispoinen, to meditate and contemplate, think about Hashem. You are the owner, supervisor, creator of everything in the entire universe. Bashamayim ma'al. The ala aretz, and on planet Earth, there's nothing else. You are the one who's behind the oxygen, gravity, rainfall, wind, sunshine, photosynthesis. Every single element in creation that you look at, you're looking at Hashem's signature. I am here. It's not Hashem was here, Hashem is here. So, according to Sefer Haredim, it's a mitzvah to be mispoinen on the niflaas habayre because of this pasuk. V'yadata. No! Hashem is the only power behind everything you study in creation. Moving along, there's a mitzvah deraisa, according to also Sefer Haredim, when it says ubacharta b'chayim, you should choose lives, because the word chayim is plural. It's referring to whenever you have a suffix issa, you're not sure if it's mutter or asa, then ubacharta b'chayim, always choose olam hazeh and olam haba. Choose to do the right thing here, so you get more of olam haba as well. And kol shekain, says Sefer Haredim, how much more so if you think something might be asa, of course you should avoid, but if it's vadai asa, for sure avoid it. And you're still mekayim this pasuk of ubacharta b'chayim, which he counts as one Taryag mitzvahs. Choose HaKadosh Baruch Hu over the Yetzer Hara. Another one is to accept whatever happens to you or your children or your property with absolute yishuv das, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're the one who's bringing this about. That's a very big item. This is brought in the Smug in Asay number Yud Zayin, where he tells us that it's a mitzvah to be matzdik al HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to judge Hashem righteously, that Hashem, you only can do good and you only do what's just. Tamim poyalai, everything you do is perfectly without any mistakes, and therefore ein avel, there are no mistakes in your justice. There's no such thing as injustice, even though you and I read in the news all the time or hear all the time about injustice. Really, there's no such thing as injustice. In a Kadosh Baruch Hu's perfect world, world, He's making sure that everything happens midah keneged midah. So that even if a person does an avla, does something terribly wrong or corrupt, so Hashem's not blind, Hashem's not deaf, Hashem hears, sees everything, and there's din v'cheshbon for everything. So me as a bystander, I don't have to get all bent out of shape when I see injustice. I can do something about it, but I don't have to get bent out of shape because you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, are the one who's running the world. And when I do see something that happens that's even personal, it's local to me, or my wife, or my children, or my grandchildren, or my family, Rahman al-Islam, or community, or immediate friends and neighbors, I have a mitzvahs aseh deoraisa to think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're only good, and that you didn't miss out a beat over here, and something went wrong. No, everything is perfectly just. In the words of Smug, mitzvahs aseh, number 17, and he learns it from Parshas Eikev, Perek Ches, Pasuk Hey, V'yadata im levavecha, you shall know with your thoughts. This is the key here. Lev means mind, means thoughts. Ki kasher yaseh ish es benai, just like you know a father who's disciplining his child, not to hurt the child, not because he's his enemy, but to help the child go in the right direction. Hashem Elokecha miyasreka, Hashem, who is your power, is guiding you to miyasreka. He's bringing the Yisurin to direct you in the right way, just like a father disciplines his child. HaKadosh Baruch Hu bani matem Hashem Elokechem. He's our father, we're his children. And so that's a mitzvah aseh deoraisa, to be matzdik hadin ala HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And there's a mitzvah aseh deoraisa of midvashek hatirchak. This is actually counted not by Rambam, but is counted in the Smag and Sefer Yereim, one of the Balei Tosfos, that the mitzvah of midvashek hatirchak, to stay far away, distance from something that is untrue. Oh, that's thought. Yeah, that's a mitzvah deoraisa. So these are examples where it's so clear that literally every single midah you can imagine is born in mind, born in thought, born in what we're thinking. It's attitude that counts for everything. And that is what gives birth to the person. What shapes us is our thoughts. It's true what we say and what we do in Olam Ha'asiyah, in this world of action, is what you could argue counts the most. But the quality of our actions is actually directly proportionate to the quality of our thinking. What's behind our actions? Is it Ava? Is it Yira? Is it Emunah? Is it Avas HaTorah, Avas Yisrael, Avas HaChayim, Simcha, Simchas HaChayim, Ashreinu, Matov Chelkenu, that we celebrate, we gloriously celebrate being from, being Jewish, being born Jewish, becoming from, having Jewish children, being happily married, having healthy children. Every blessing counts in our minds. And that's really what's going to lead to the quality of life. So when your children in the classroom, and your biological children too, but we're talking about kids in school, when your students in your classroom, they can't fail to pick up who you are, because who you are is between your ears. I'm not talking about your brain, I'm talking about the thoughts that go through your brain. It's impossible to escape oneself, but it's never too late to change myself, improve upon myself. And that's what we're talking about. In terms of middos, we're talking about how do we improve our middos? Well, that means how do we improve what we're thinking? How do we pay attention, which creates awareness? How do we pay attention to what we're thinking so we start noticing our thoughts? The language alone, noticing our thoughts, is already indicating that there's a consciousness, that's divine intelligence that lets me actually read my thoughts. So even though the thoughts are us, our neshama, in its divine intelligence being manifest through our thinking, the fact that we can actually be aware of our thinking is also divine intelligence. That's also a gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we're actually, when you say my thoughts, there's a my and then there's your thinking. So there's a my who's observing your thinking. And this is what we're talking about. Middos is paying attention to what we're thinking. But I need a frame of reference. So therefore the Torah, which is reality thinking, Hashem's mindset, Kaviyachol, the Torah is giving me that frame of reference. It's telling me this is reality thinking, this is non-reality thinking. Jealousy, non-reality thinking. Anger, non-reality thinking. Resentment, revenge, non-reality. Being down, that's non-reality thinking. Sinner, oh, that's big time non-reality thinking. Complaining, oh, that's non-reality thinking. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given me direction so that I can pay attention to how to build my mind, my Middos. I'm now going to share with you a shorter list of Middos which are also, some of them do have psukim, but they're not counted as tariag by any of the Monei HaMitzvahs, but nevertheless they are part of Middos. So for example, the midah of Shalom. So you can find psukim that will give you a possible makar for it, but it's not amongst the Monei HaMitzvahs. But making shalom between yourself and your wife, making shalom between yourself and other people. I mean, even though it's not one tag mitzvahs, it's so big that the very last Mishnah in Ugsin, Parak Gimel, that right at the end tells us, Loi matzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu kli machzik bracha ela hashalom. Hashem searched to identify out of all the good mitzvahs that exist. Hey, there's chesed, there's gemulas chesed, there's ahava, there's simcha, there's so many good things. Well, which one is the one midah that is so big in its capacity to contain the bracha that I, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, want to shower upon a person? Your bracha upon a person, that's unlimited. So which kli is going to be able to hold that? Loi matzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu kli machzik bracha ela hashalom. He couldn't find any kli that is capable of containing the bracha that Hashem wants to shower on us, ela hashalom. Oh, really? So shalom is, according to Chazal, you find it also in Likutei Moharan and Torah Pei, where he brings that the Ikar Shalom is the hischabus of Shnei Hafechem. When you bring together opposites and they coexist, that's Shalom. The Ikar Shalom is not two people who are similar coexisting. That's too easy. You don't call it Shalom Chaverim. There could be such an expression. I don't know of one in a Chazal. You got Shalom bias. Oh, really? Yeah, why? Because a husband and wife are completely different. Totally, utterly, completely. Mars, Venus, completely two different planets. Trust me. So, if that's the case, so Ikar Shalom is the hischabrus of Shnei Chafechem, when you bring together two opposites that coexist with their differences. Wow, that's real Shalom. So come along, Kadosh Baruch Hu, and he tells me the midah of Shalom is what's going to bring down all his brachas into our lives. Oh, so to be Shalom with ourselves, with our children, with our husbands, with our wives, with our family, extended family, with our neighbors, with the community, with people on the street, wishing them a greeting, hello, to a Jew, non-Jew, makes no difference. By Ketov, good morning. Making shalom, being b'shalom with everybody, even if they're different. In fact, dafka if they're different. Oh, this is where HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, that opens up the faucet. Now I can shower you with my bracha. So shalom is a massive one, much more to be said on it, but we have to move forward. Anger. It may not be an Issa Deraisa. Sefer Haredim does count it as a Durbanan, that one of the mitzvahs Durbanan, to be sholet on oneself and erech apayim, be patient and remove oneself from chaos. But anger is thought in the moment. It's a misinterpretation, non-reality thinking. It's a misinterpretation of reality, but it's still thought in the moment. We talked about where I can get angry and be outraged, and 1 second later get an important phone call from Michael, who wants to do a big deal with me, and I've been chasing him for months, and he's only now calling for the first time. I'm always calling him, but he's actually calling me now to meet him in 5 minutes to close on the deal. For whatever reason, now he's in a hurry. And right now I'm in the middle of rage with a member of my family, a significant member of my family. I will not mention any names or give you any clues. And comes along this phone call from Michael. Oh, sure, I'll be there in 5 minutes. What happened to my anger? Oh, anger is a thought. It's not a feeling that I can't control. It's a thought that I'm letting control the next thought and the next thought. But the moment I chap, 1 second, I exist in thought. I get to choose the next thought, the next thought, next thought. So the previous thought doesn't dictate what I have to think in the next thought. Even though it looks like I'm carried away with this deep feeling of anger, the reality is that's not the origin of my anger. It's thought in the moment. And so when I get a phone call and I get distracted by Michael, my thought goes to, I'm making a big deal over here. I'm actually going to make a lot of money. This is the biggest commission I've ever had in my life. And all of a sudden, I've forgotten about the anger. How do you do that? If the anger's real, well, the anger seemed real because that's what I was thinking. And because that's what I was thinking, it was real for me. But it's not reality. It's not reality thinking. Anger is always, according to Chazal, equated with Avodah Zarah. When I'm angry, I'm actually falling into the trap of thinking there's another power besides HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Rahman Aslan, that is controlling me, because you make me so mad. You tick me off. You press all my buttons. And when I start blaming, and I'm angry about it, I'm actually turning something into a power and saying, you have power over me. And I'm ignoring Kadosh Baruch Hu. And that's why Chazal actually tell us, Gemara Shabbos, I think Kuf Dalad, Randa was Kuf Hey, I think, it says, Kol ha'koyes kilu oved avodah zarah. Oh, so when I get angry, it's equivalent to avodah zarah. And that's because it's a thought in the moment. And the moment I get distracted, oh my God, my mind went somewhere else, and it's perfectly legitimate. I'm not two-faced. I live in thought, one thought at a time, one thought at a thought. And the length of my thought is for as long as I think it. So if I distract myself or get distracted and my thought goes elsewhere, that's where I am. As the Baal Shem HaKadosh says many times, where your mayach is, that's where you really are. That's why the word sameach is made up of two words, says the Baal Shem HaKadosh, sham mayach. That's where you are. That's where your mind is. Happiness is a reality, whether I'm aware of it or not. But when I'm paying attention to it, that's reality thinking. Okay, let's move on. We dealt with a little bit of anger, but the point is, it's thought in the moment. All middos are thought in the moment. You have, this is really big, to forgive other people, to be ma'avir al midosav. We mentioned Gemara Megillah, where actually the Gemara is over there in Chaf Ches Amud Aleph, which tells us kol ha'ma'avir al midosav, someone who doesn't get easily blocked and upset that you are treading on me, you are getting me upset, you're disrespectful. Kol ha'ma'avir, kol, anyone who is ma'avir al midosav, lets go and doesn't get makpid that you're being pogim on my covered, ma'avir imenu al kol pesha'av. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wipes out, completely discounts all his peshaim. Pesha is way more than shogeg. Shogeg means it's accidental. Your intent was not to do that. But pesha, a poshea, is already, there's a very serious element of ill intent, deliberate, almost bemazed and almost lachachis. Western class. So comes along the Torah and wants me to know that when we exercise the midah of forgiveness, to be ma'avir al midosav, hey, guess who's winning out? It's not me getting you off the hook. It's getting me off the hook, because now I'm able to go to sleep at night. Now I have yishuv das. My mind is not plagued by thoughts of what you've done to me, because I am letting go. And forgiveness is thought in the moment. We do it every night. We in Krishna Mitzvah, we beg Hashem, help me, please, Ben Shleilam. I'm moichel, v'soleach, everybody. I'm moichel, I forgive everybody who ever hurt me in any which way, whether it's this lifetime or previous lifetime, whether it's b'mamlein, whether it's b'shogeg, whether it's b'mezid. That's amazing. Yeah, say the words, mean it, because it counts to get me off the hook. Rabbi Yisrael Rukowski Shlita, Rosh Hashiva in Osamer, many times at Ne'ilah on Yom Kippur, the closing of the gates, and a last minute of what can I say in the last minutes to leverage Hashem to please forgive me for all my mistakes this whole year. So he says, hey, you got an easy pass. It's such an easy ticket. If right now you'll be moichel everybody who hurt you in any which way, HaKadosh Baruch Hu can't be a bigger Rachaman than you. So if you have Rachamim to be ma'avir al midosecha, to let go of your hakpada on anyone who's hurt you, so midah keneged midah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is now going to remove your aveiros off the record, because you've removed other people's aveiros off your record. Oh, so we have that koyach, that incredible power that through forgiveness we get forgiven. So we're serving ourselves. It's not like, why should I let him off the hook? What do you mean let go? Forgiveness is liberation of my own mind. That I'm not plagued by anger and resentment and bitterness for other people have done, and I'm not forgiving that person. Why should I? Because I'm gaining. I'm being mevater. I'm the one who's yoser. I'm gaining. let's move on. Chazal tell us, don't be disrespectful to anybody, neither an adult or a child or even an object. Alti baz lechol adam, v'alti maflik lechol dava, she'ein lecha adam she'ein lo isha. There's no such thing as a person doesn't have ein lecha dava she'ein lo makom. Everything has its place, and every person has their moment where you might need them. That's in Pirkei Avos. This is a mitzvah d'Rabbanan of the mind, to not be mevazeh. Bizayin means to have disdain for another person, whether it's just with a look, or like a move of the hand, or actually unkind words, or hurtful or insulting sharp words. Oh, that's to be mevazeh another person. So that's what this Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, Perek Dal Mishnah Hey Gimel is telling us. Don't be mevazeh anybody, and not even physical items, and not even Gentiles. That we mentioned earlier is actually in Reb Chaim of Vital. Reb Chaim Vital is the main Talmud of the Arizal, and in his Sefer Shari Kedusha, which is all about Middos, he talks about having covered for Gentiles. It's part of the mitzvah of Avos Abrius. So moving forward, honesty in business. That's a midah. Yeah, that's the midah of emunah. It's one of the first questions, actually the first question we're asked on the divine interview in Yom Hadin. Did I do masa matan? Did I do my business be'emunah? With honesty, in trustworthiness, did I do it with emunah Hashem? I don't need to cheat or lie or do anything that's dishonest, because you're the ultimate judge, and you've decided how much money I'm going to make anyway on Rosh Hashanah. So I can't add by doing more shtados or doing something that's not right. I cannot add to the amount of money that you've already designated to me. So what's the point? I'm only going to get myself hurt in the end. So the midah, that's what it is, of honesty is thought in the moment. Do I tell the truth? Do I write the truth? Don't resist giving a poor man tzedakah. That's one of the mitzvahs that's brought in Sfarim. The Sefer Charedim also brings it. Not to feel that I wish I wasn't giving this money to this poor person. Not to resent it. Not to feel negative about it. That's all in the mind. It's thought. The feeling we're experiencing is really what we're thinking. To be nadivas halev, to be generous-hearted, means an attitude of generosity. That's what we mean by generous-hearted. We mean generous thinking. Yeah, it's all over here. The lave. Give tzedakah with a happy face and full-heartedly. That's actually a pasuk, but the mitzvah of giving tzedakah is to do it with a full heart. And that means that your mind is not split in two directions. I wish I didn't have to, but I should. It doesn't look nice, and I come up with all. No, give it full-heartedly means with all your thoughts. Let go of the negative thinking and let the good thinking come in and take over, and give it with a full-hearted, loving gesture of generosity. Sefer Charedim also brings a mitzvah d'Rabbanan to be happy in the moment of a mitzvah. So even though it's a mitzvah d'Rabbanan, it changes the quality of the mitzvah on every level. So the fact that it's d'Rabbanan or d'Oraisa is almost immaterial. We're talking about middos of the mind, and I don't know if there is a middah that's not thought. It's all thought. We're going to say anava is thought, zerizos is thought, laziness is thought. All of these are thought. They're all middos of the mind. So in this particular one, according to Orchat Tzadikim, in Shah Simcha, he actually claims that the value of a mitzvah done without Simcha is less than a mitzvah done with Simcha, but how much less? So claims Orchat Tzadikim, 1000 yadait. That means that when you do a mitzvah b'simcha, it's worth 1,000 times more than a mitzvah not done b'simcha. Wow, that's incredible. So it's like you gave $1 b'simcha, it's worth $1,000. You learn a Mishnah b'simcha, you learn a pasuk b'simcha, that's 1,000 psukim, that's 1,000 mishnayos. You learn a blat of Gemara and you enjoyed it, you did it b'simcha, that's 1,000 blat. That's amazing. So the repercussions are gigantic. So of course it's ein daima. You can't compare one person who's doing a mitzvah b'simcha to the one who's doing it because I'm a robot. Well, my parents told me to, or what I saw. That's Masara. That's very nice, but you've got to own it. It's got to be your relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, not because you were told to. Then you're reading a script. Reading a script, well, actors do that, and actors, by definition, are acting. Hello, they're not being themselves. So Hashem doesn't want me to be a robot. He wants me to love His Torah because I've made that choice. Not someone made it for me. It's not an act. It's not a reenactment. It's reality. Reality is the Torah is true. Reality is HaKadosh Baruch Hu is true. Reality is Hashem's with me all the time. Reality is tefillah works. Reality is gratitude is reality. That's reality.